There's always two sides to a story, to wear a mask or to not in a restaurant. I'm Annie Johnson, and I'll have that full story coming up.
Do you want to know if you have coronavirus or not? Well, here in Butte, you can get free testing, and I'll show you where and how to do it.
6:30 straight up right now back here on Montana This Morning. Caitlin Corbett and Matt Elwell, we're very happy it's Friday, and we're very happy we might have some good weather for the fireworks tonight.
I do think that the weather's going to cooperate overall. We do have a few thunder showers out there by the mid to late afternoon, but I think things clear out. Beautiful morning, though, right now into the 40s and 50s. Get outside and enjoy the day. If you have the day off, get out and take a hike early on in the day. The afternoon, the mid-afternoon is when we see these thunder showers trying to develop across the area. They're mainly isolated in nature. A couple of those could produce some small to moderate hail, some brief downpours, maybe some gusty wind, but I think it clears out very quickly if you have plans to head out. Watch the Butte fireworks. Temperatures into the 70s and low 80s today. We'll talk more about your 4th of July weekend. That forecast coming up in just a little over 10 minutes.
All right, thank you for that, Matt. The Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services has released its child fatality report for last year. In 2019, 17 children died that were known to Montana's child welfare system and an additional 7 that were not. For children known to CPS, the leading causes of death were unsafe sleep, a medical condition, or abuse or neglect. For children unknown to CPS, drowning and abuse or neglect were the leading causes of death. The state has already taken steps to prevent similar deaths by distributing safe sleep cribs and working with FWP to provide life jackets at popular swimming areas. Deputy Director Laura Smith says especially when it comes to water, always make sure there is a watchful eye on the child.
Really encourage families, caregivers, babysitters to be emptying sources of water in the home immediately after use. That includes bathtubs, wading pools, and any freestanding water.
DPHHS also strongly encourages people to report cases of child abuse or neglect. You can do that at the Montana Abuse and Neglect Hotline. That number 1-866-820-5437. The number is toll-free and the call could potentially save a life. Statistics from the Montana Highway Patrol show July and August are the deadliest months on Montana roads. In 2019, 49 people lost their lives in Montana crashes. MTN's Phoenix O'Connor looked at what people hitting the highways can do to stay safe this summer.
It's 4th of July weekend. I understand you might be thinking about getting out of town. One of the most popular choices is hitting the roadways on a good old-fashioned road trip. So here's just some safety reminders on how to stay safe on the roadways.
Right now, we're sitting at 85 fatalities in the state of Montana just now. That's 10% over where we were last year. That's a huge increase. We look at those 4 days of the 4th of July, we average over 130 crashes, 4 fatalities, upwards of 35 DUIs that'll occur across the state in those 4 days.
Of course, with the 4th of July week coming up, we're right in the middle of that. And the top 3 contributing factors to fatalities and serious injuries and crashes in Montana are consistently impaired driving, lack of seatbelts, and vehicles leaving the road.
As I always tell everybody, it's the cheapest life insurance you'll ever get by just clicking that seatbelt.
MHP troopers will also be looking out for speeders on the highway.
Montana's a great place to live. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Slow down and enjoy.
Consistently, impaired driving is involved in about 60% of the fatal crashes.
If you do happen to see someone driving that you may think is impaired, call 911.
Give the description of the vehicle. If they can get a license plate, never put yourself in danger, meaning if someone is traveling in an erratic manner, don't try to copy them and follow them where they're going.
And if you do happen to have a little too many drinks,
Car at the bar, don't drink and drive. Don't endanger yourself or others.
using a rideshare companies is another option, or ask your bartender if the bar participates in a home-free program. In Helena, Phoenix O'Connor, MTN News.
6:34 now. 67 new COVID-19 cases reported in Montana yesterday. That's the most reported in a day yet in the state's 24-hour reporting period. Those cases are across 15 counties. The Gallatin City County Health Department is showing 4 new cases with 46 confirmed active cases and 1 person hospitalized. The state report shows Silverbow and Madison counties each have 3 new cases and 1 new case in Park County. Currently, 14 people are in hospitals. More than 95,000 tests have been completed. with county health departments adding cases after the state's reporting. We're at 1,095 confirmed cases and 380 active cases. Well, we're clearing up some rumors now and misinformation regarding COVID tracking apps.
What I think has alarmed people is that they get this notification about the new operating system and that it enables these apps. And I think there's a lot of confusion about what the status of that is. And so right now, no state has actually created an app and deployed an app that uses this Apple Google API.
What's happened so far is Google and Apple teamed up to create software that would allow a COVID tracking app to work. It was part of the newest software updates on iPhones. It's not the actual app though, so even if you turn the feature on, it's not going to work. States would be the ones to develop those COVID tracking apps, and so far only a handful said that they would. When they do though, it will be very different than what other countries have used with far more privacy protection.
Contact tracing apps was first released in Asia with a very different architecture, created kind of a bad reputation for these apps more generally. And what we found in our research is that the public doesn't really understand the differences between these different systems.
Sarah Krepp says because of confusion and mistrust, you would need a strong public education campaign to go with that software. The Apple Google system would not use GPS to track your location. Tech companies and the government would not have access to your personal information. People would willingly upload their positive COVID status, then anyone in close proximity of that person that also had the app turned on would be notified. 6:36 now. On a related note, local restaurant owners find themselves constantly having to make decisions to keep their business afloat while also following CDC guidelines and local safety measures. Now, though, they find themselves facing a new challenge. MTN's Annie Johnson explains.
In almost every single situation, there's always multiple sides. And this is no different with the current pandemic we're living in. Some people think you should wear a mask in restaurant, while others think you shouldn't.
We know that we're never going to be able to make both sides happy. We understand that there is one perspective on social distancing and masks and then a complete other perspective.
As a restaurant owner, Parker said he's heard from both sides.
Those that believe that COVID-19 is a conspiracy, and that's the sad side. You know, we know that this is a real thing.
And then there's the other side.
One inflicting their opinion of why everyone needs to wear a face mask. You know, we see both sides. We definitely support and encourage wearing face masks.
But for another restaurant, wearing a face mask is the main priority for the employees.
As an ownership group and as a business, we are definitely feel it's the most crucial thing that we can do above and beyond our sanitation practices.
And they have a reason why.
My concerns is I have a compromised immune system. I have an autoimmune disease that is directly in my lungs, and I know that this virus is something that is affecting people with their lungs and affecting breathing. So for me, it hits very close to home.
So would the Gallatin City County Health Department consider making it a mandate?
A mandate is one of those ways, but it's not the only way. And so I think it's something that the board would consider, but the board is also looking at other options to do that as well.
Currently, there are no requirements for restaurant employees or staff to wear masks. Reporting in Bozeman, Annie Johnson, MTN News.
Free testing for COVID-19 continues. This time it's happening in Butte. MTN's John Amy takes one of the tests himself and has this report.
People in Butte without symptoms of COVID-19 can now get tested for the virus for free to ensure they have not been infected, and it's recommended they do.
Even though you may not have symptoms, you can still be a person that is a vector to spread it to other people.
The free testing will be done by the Southwest Montana Community Health Center next week in the parking lot of the Butte Plaza Mall. And people getting tested don't have to leave their vehicles.
We would like people to show up in that line that do not have symptoms, meaning they don't have a cough or shortness of breath or fever.
Last week, the mobile clinic tested more than 250 people. These tests will help health officials better control the spread of the virus. There have been 7 new COVID-19 cases reported in Butte in recent weeks.
If they turn up positive, we will ask them to isolate and to limit their contact with the outside world to not spread the virus immediately.
So this is how the process is going to work when you drive up to the mobile clinic. They'll give you a cotton swab and have you stick it up one nostril and just spin it about 10 times. And then go up the next nostril, spin it 10 times, and breathe on it. And that's it.
You will be notified if your test is positive, but if your test is negative, we will let you just continue about your days because these are asymptomatic tests.
In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
That testing will take place again next Wednesday and Thursday from 10 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon in the Butte Plaza Mall parking lot. Not something that it looks like I want to do with that, shoving that up your nose.
Don't get it.
I'm glad we've seen how to do it though.
Yeah, that was.
We know how it's done. 6:40 now. You've probably seen the ads on social media for home COVID-19 antibody tests. The FBI says don't even try it. Coming up, learn why criminals are using the tests to steal your identity. First, though, here's a look at what's ahead to CBS This Morning.
Good morning to you. Ahead on CBS This Morning, an alarming new milestone. The U.S. sets another record for new coronavirus cases. We'll take a look at how states are trying to slow the spread as we head into this 4th of July holiday weekend. Plus, only on CBS This Morning, Hamilton star, that's Daveed Diggs, has a powerful message about the 4th of July and a look at his own relationship with patriotism in a new video where he asks Americans to look at Independence Day through a different lens. Something to think about. And our series, The New Normal, The World from Home, explores what safe vacations could look like this time. Mark Elwood, he's a contributing editor at Condé Nast Traveler, joins us to share why this is a summer to reconnect with nature. Birds, it's a beautiful thing. We'll see you at 7 o'clock on the dot.